Hello and welcome back to Dilkash the Talk. The guest we have today is a wedding photographer, has studied from Australia, and from a data scientist to this wedding photographer now. Let's talk to our guest, Saffee. Assalamualaikum, Saffee.
Walaikum assalam.
Kaise hain aap?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I am doing good, thank you. So Saffee, let's begin with a little bit introduction about yourself. आपका बचपन कैसा था? कहाँ से आपने पढ़ा? Or how was your family like? And how many siblings do you have?
Okay, so I have one younger sibling that I'm extremely close to. And I did my O-levels from Lahore Grammar School in Lahore, the defense branch. And then I went to Australia for my foundation year. And then I had to come back because of COVID. And then I did my bachelor's from here, a satellite program. And yeah, now I'm a photographer. I happen to take pictures.
Okay, so were you always interested in photography or मतलब ये अचानक से एक twist?
Not at all. I was actually doing my foundation in data analysis. And I've never been camera fond or anything like that. I went to a trip, right? I went to Hunza with my friends and I just made a video, like, a small montage. And it just happened to be nice and people liked it. So I was like, why not just take pictures? And then taking pictures then turned out to,
From it, it's like a hobby, say it started into something that you thought, okay, I want to take this as a profession.
I still call it a hobby that pays me off.
Okay.
So it's still something that I love. I extremely love doing and I'm really fond of, but it also pays me off, yeah.
Okay. और so okay, ये तो आपका moment था कि you went to Hunza and it happened like that. So what was your family's reaction when were you good at data analysis and then they would be like, okay, अचानक से क्या हुआ? It's a big shift,
Okay, so I was really good at what I was doing in college in Australia, but I had to come back because of COVID and a lot of mental health issues as well that we'll talk about later. But so when I came back and I told my dad that, I just want to pursue photography. And he was like, obviously, because I don't blame him, right? Like when someone spends so much money to, send you abroad and it wasn't like I wasn't doing well, right? I was doing extremely well. I was doing odd jobs, earning. I was in my dean's honor list and all of that. So he was like, why not? Why don't you want to go back? And I was like, I just don't. I want to pursue photography. And shuru mein he was upset, but thankfully he's been so supportive since after, so supportive. Like, फिर उसके बाद से it's always been just uphill, alhamdulillah.
Okay, and when you were studying there, so your family was here?
My family was here, yes.
All right. So, what was your first project like? मतलब आपने एक वो video बनाई Hunza वाली and then when you actually thought, okay, now I'm going to take this as a profession, what was your first project? Do you remember how you got it and what was it like?
Yeah, it was really funny, right? So I was getting ready for my friend's sister's wedding, right? And I was like, chalo, let's just make a video out of it. Let's just make a small highlight and see where things go from there. So I made it from my phone, actually. I made it was a mehndi, right? So I made like a dance highlight from my phone. And then I edited it and then I sent it. I remember editing it right, after coming home. I was that excited. I was like, I got home and I opened my laptop and I was like, I'll just edit it and I'll just, wait for the reactions of how they like it. And it turned out good and they liked it and they were like, this is really nice. So that's where it started from.
Nice. So, like you said that you had anxiety issues and you had mental health problems. So, do you know or what were the symptoms that you were feeling that you thought that I should get myself checked or something like that?
Okay, so with me, my symptoms were more physical than psychological. Because psychologically, it was just intrusive thoughts and thoughts about my loved ones dying, in all honesty, to put it mildly. But my symptoms were more physical, right? I used to get lightheaded, migraines, tingling underneath the feet, like pins in the chest and all of that. So I was like, I need help. And I've been very vocal about it since the beginning. Like I told my father, I told my mother, shuru mein they were like, because I was the most extroverted child in the family, and just being bound to just a room suddenly. So, like, my parents were like, this is just because of, you're using your phone a lot, or you're not sleeping on time and all of that. But the drastic change with me and my lifestyle, I think they went further to understand कि यार वाकई कोई problem है. And then since then, my father and my mother both have been super supportive. I've been very vocal about it. मुझसे कोई पूछता भी है ना, तो I don't hide it. I don't think it should be hidden, right?
Exactly. And when did it all begin?
Right in after, I think the last quarter of COVID. Yeah, those were when the intrusive. My mom got sick. She got COVID, and since after, I think uske baad se the intrusive thoughts came, and then they just took over physically. Yeah.
Okay. And did you feel like you said? I mean, it's different how people take you when you talk about mental health. पाकिस्तान में और तरह से है, बाहर कहीं और तरह से है. पाकिस्तान में it's just अगर आप डिप्रेशन भी कहते हैं ना, तो मोस्टली आपको रिएक्शन नहीं मिलेगा कि अच्छा कुछ नहीं होता. इट्स जस्ट आप खुद पे ये करो, कंट्रोल करो. पीपल डोंट एक्चुअली सी. येस, आई एग्री कि गेटिंग क्लोजर टू योर रिलीजन हेल्प्स, बट इट्स एक्चुअली अ मेडिकल illness. It is. People don't understand. So your mother and father were supportive, but did you feel the pressure from anyone else that you had to keep it to yourself?
Okay, so for me, it's just my parents that matter, right? Or the ones that I keep close. What anyone else is does not matter for me, right? So कोई भी कहे कि तुम ड्रामा कर रहे हो या तुम ये सही नहीं कर रहे हो, doesn't matter to me. Like, जो सोचना है सोचो. I've always been vocal about it. I suffered through it. I have tried homeopathy for it. I've tried allopathy for it. I've tried psychotherapy, all of that. I think I went to the best therapist in Lahore, thanks to my father and the privilege that I have. But honestly, पता है शुरू में मुझे भी लोगों ने कहा था कि दुआ पढ़ो and all of that. But उस वक्त आप इतने ज़्यादा उसके अंदर होते हो कि आप कहते हो कि क्या है, like, why is someone telling me to just get closer to God? Because how's that going to help, right? But to be very honest, like, I'm young, right? Or मैं बिल्कुल भी I'm not that religiously, like, मतलब I'm not that way. But there's this dua, right? So that I memorized by heart, and I swear to God, no medicine, no homeopathy, nothing has helped me more than that dua. Like a year and a half ago, I could not imagine sitting right here and talking to you, right? Alone. I couldn't do it. It's just the dua for me. मुझे पता है लोग कहेंगे he's just I'm sorry to use it, but bullshitting. But I'm not. It's literally the dua that has helped me. Yeah. And it was really strange for me as well, because मैं कभी भी नहीं मानता था. जब मुझे सारे कहते थे ना कि कुछ like get closer to God and all of that, there's nothing like it. And अब वो सिर्फ दुआ की वजह से I'm able to just meet new people. Obviously my work requires a lot of outgoing and me being extroverted and meeting new people. And I could not imagine doing it.
Did you lose a lot of friends during that time?
I actually lost a very close friend of mine, yes. I did.
Due to this?
Somewhat, yes. Somewhat, yes.
Say. So, okay. So, who were the most supportive people that you remember during that time?
Apart from my parents, my brother, I think one of my cousin, his name's Diane, but he's been really supportive throughout. Like, because it's like, he's just been like with me since bachpan. We've all like grew up together basically. So he's like a brother as well. So he's been super supportive. And my parents, of course, and my younger brother. I think number one, yeah, 100%.
Right. And who was that one person who told you about the dua that you're saying?
It was actually my mom sent it to me on Instagram, right? And then I screenshotted it and then I kept it as my lock screen. So वो जब मैं phone खोलता था, I used to say it and फिर मुझे याद आ गई. So I know it by heart now. So it's like, so I just kept it as my lock screen and then I just memorized it. It was cool.
All right. So what has been your favorite project so far?
It's literally like, if it's literally asking a mother, who their favorite child is. Like, all my projects are my favorite, right? So like, because every project just teaches me a lot. Like, वो मुझे बहुत सिखाते हैं.
So, कोई ऐसा है जिसमें you remember this very funny thing that happened, or maybe the couple was कई बहुत during that couple shoot.
Yeah. It happened actually. So I was at the shoot. It was like the earlier stages of my career, right? I went to the shoot and I saw this dude, right? He was like full on tyaar hua hua, and he was standing there, and his bride got late. So he was really furious. He was like, mere samne, he was like, throwing his phone on the ground. He was like, kyun late ho raha hai, and all of that. And the second the bride came, he went to her with flowers. He was like, hello. And I was like, bro, what is happening? I was like, ye bhi theek hai, bro, theek hai. I'll just stay quiet about it. I didn't see anything.
Okay. So, coming back to your mental health issues, did you feel pressurized due to being a man? I mean, हमेशा जब मेंटल हेल्थ की बात होती है तो एम्फेसिस जो है वो ज़्यादा औरतों की मेंटल हेल्थ पे जाता है और मर्दों का जाता है कि वो तो कर लेंगे वो खुद ही कर लेंगे. सो आपके लिए ये कैसा था एंड क्या चीज़ें थी कि बहुत सी ना व्हेन यूर सी आई माई सेल्फ सफ़र फ्रॉम डिफरेंट मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज़ एंड शायद मेरे लिए वो ईजी इसलिए होगा कि इट्स एक्सपेक्टेड ऑफ कि अच्छा हाँ एक लड़की है तो शी कैन गो थ्रू डिफरेंट मूड्स एंड ये वो. पर अगर मेरे फैमिली में कोई बंदा होगा ना तो उसको कहेंगे बी अ मैन. आपके लिए ये कैसा था एक्सपीरियंस इसमें?
मुझे बहुत दफ़ा ये सुनने को मिला था कि बी अ मैन, तगड़े हो या मतलब मर्द बनो, ऑल ऑफ दैट, राइट? But for me, I honestly think that there should not be stereotypes when it comes to mental health. What you feel, I can feel, and what I feel, you can feel, right? Like the mental health should not be gender based. मतलब सेम प्रॉब्लम्स आप भी फील कर सकते हो जो मैं फील कर रहा हूँ. मतलब और मुझे समझ नहीं आता कि लोगों को अभी तक लाइक वी लिटरली इन द 21st century, राइट? मतलब what part of everybody can go through the same thing, every gender can go through the same thing, do people not understand?
Yeah. Bilkul. And any advice that you would want to give to people that are suffering from it? Men especially. Guys.
Be vocal about it, get help. Help is needed. Help works. Get therapy. Honestly, everybody needs therapy. Jinko problems nahi bhi hai na, they also need therapy.
Yeah, some sort of therapy.
हाँ, because therapy is actually very important, because sometimes आपके subconscious में इतनी चीज़ें हो रही होती हैं जो you have traumas that go way back that you मतलब अब जैसे मैं बैठा हूँ मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, right? But मेरे subconscious में कोई trauma है that's messing with my head, and I can't talk to anyone about it. But I would prefer talking to my therapist about it.
And I think specifically in this generation, I'd say कि बहुत सी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो हमने normalize कर दी हैं that are actually mental disorders, like ADHD हो गया या anxiety हो गया या बहुत से मतलब you're quiet but your brain is always like buzzing.
Yeah, that's true. But सबसे बड़ा जो उसका प्रॉब्लम है ना वो गूगल है, क्योंकि अभी पिछले दिनों ना मैं और मेरा कज़न बैठे हुए थे और उसने मुझे कहा कि तुझे ADHD है. मैंने कहा ब्रो सबको ADHD होता है. उसने कहा कैसे? मैंने कहा गूगल कर सिम्टम्स, राइट? तो उसने गूगल किया और वो सिम्टम्स इतने नॉर्मल थे कि हमने वो टिक करना शुरू किया, ये भी है मुझे, ये भी है मुझे, ये भी है मुझे, तो ADHD तो सबको
है. एग्जैक्टली.
गूगल तो आपको कहेगा आपको सब कुछ है.
हाँ, और खैर गूगल तो बहुत एक्सट्रीम से लगाता है. मैंने अभी तक अपने जितने सिम्टम्स गूगल किए मुझे कैंसर हो चुका है,
मुझे सब कुछ हो चुका है. हाँ सब कुछ हो चुका है.
तो इसीलिए लेकिन वो भी है कि लाइक यू सेड कि थेरेपी हर एक को चाहिए बिकॉज यू डोंट नो दैट यू आर एक्चुअली सफरिंग फ्रॉम अ डिसऑर्डर बट इट्स देयर and it's bugging you. There will come a point that it will start bugging you to the point where your functionality would just...
Absolutely. Like my intrusive thoughts started from, मुझे thoughts आती थी, about my mother dying, like randomly. और मैं उनको हमेशा यही कहता था कि, because there are two ways to, either you fly, there's a fight and then there's a flight, right? So I used to fly with it. I used to fight with it actually, sorry. मैं कहता था नहीं ये कैसे हो सकता है, मतलब क्यों एमी बिल्कुल ठीक है, एमी फौत हो जाएगी, एमी उनको कुछ हो जाएगा, stuff like that. But then I decided, you just have to let it go. Be like, yeah, because you can't, it's inevitable. Someone's death is, you can't control it. So I was like, ठीक है bro, if something happens to her, then ठीक है, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ उस बारे में,
और वो भी है कि and then अल्लाह ना करे ऐसा हो, पर grieving is also a process that you have to go through it. मतलब these are all the feelings that you can't say कि इनको block कर दें. These are the feelings that you have to go through, and वो उसी process में गुजरते हुए ही वो चीज़ें जाती हैं.
Absolutely, you're right.
अब थोड़ा सा lighter tone पे आते हैं वापस. So Saffee, there's this market photography वाली बहुत competition है. So where do you think you're at in this market?
Abhi to I just started off. God's been very kind with me. I've been getting amazing clients literally that I can call family. I think I'm blessed that way, because when I started off with the mobile phone, I told you, right? And then I worked my way up, Red ka camera liya. Not like I couldn't afford it, but I wanted it to be something of my own, कि जिसमें मैं अपने अब्बू को ना कहूँ कि, just मुझे पैसे दें and all of that. Although ने मुझे काफ़ी दफ़ा कहा कि, get a camera, I'll give you a camera. And then later on, he bought it for me, but like a year later, तो मैंने रेंट के कैमरा से काम किया, and it was amazing. Like, कॉल करनी रेंट वाले को कि अच्छा कैमरा दो मुझे, and then, shooting on that camera and then delivering pictures on time and all of that. It just happened, but competition इतना ज़्यादा है, honestly, आपको समझ ही नहीं आती, because एक शादी पे there are five different teams. There's so many photographers in the industry, और माशाल्लाह इतना अच्छा काम है सबका कि clients भी कभी होता है कि अच्छा हम इसको भी ले लेते हैं, इसको भी ले लेते हैं, इसको भी ले लेते हैं, और वो करते हैं, which I'm not very fond of, but लोग करते हैं.
पर अगर आप let's say एक ही शादी पे 4-5 different teams जा रही हैं, तो आपस में teams का भी कितना होता होगा कि? Definitely
होता है, 100% होता है, but वो यही है ना कि उन्होंने भी काम करना है, हमने भी काम करना है, तो वो एक आपकी वो हो जाती है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाती है कि चलो ठीक है, you take your space and we'll take our space and we'll just shoot the wedding. That's about it.
And what would you say to somebody who wants to become a photographer?
Make an Instagram page. Start. Because literally मैंने ऐसे किया था, I made an Instagram page और काम चल गया. Because we are in the social media era, right? और मैं अपने छोटे भाई को भी ये कहता हूँ कि if you're not making something off of social media in this era, then you're wasting your life. Literally, आपको बस मेहनत करनी है और काम मिलता है.
So, Saffee, you've mentioned your brother a lot. How is it with your brother? What's your relationship?
He's my firstborn. He is my firstborn. Like, I think I will never be able to love my own child like I love him. Or maybe I say that a lot, right? Because he's seen it all, he knows it all. और अगर वो कभी अपना मुंह खोले तो I'm God. But my love for him will always be unconditional. चाहे जो मर्जी हो जाए मेरी जिंदगी में, but he has like that.
That's fair.
That part of my heart belongs to him. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of firstborns, do you plan on getting married soon?
Anytime soon?
Yeah.
No. I need to build a career first, properly, settle myself down, and then get into the marriage stage.
So do you think it's, what do you say? Do you think it's important to have a career before? Let's say you found love, kali, okay? And you're like, okay, now I found the right person, this is the person for me. But Allah na kare that you have to wait for 10 years, but if there's a condition कि अच्छा नहीं 10 साल लगेंगे इस चीज़ को build होने में, so would you rather wait for 10 years, or would you just say कि okay, this is the right person, I might lose this person because of the other thing?
So it's not 10 years, right? अगर 10 years होंगे, then we'll build a career together. But अगर 3-4 साल हैं, तो I'd want the person also waits and grows with me, rather than I tie the knot और फिर वो बाद में ज़्यादा मसले हों. Because at the end of the day मसले होते, ठीक है? मतलब ये कोई वो बात नहीं है कि एकदम से शादी हो जाएगी तो सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. I think marriage is a beautiful thing, ठीक है? It's lovely. But if you're not content within yourself, I don't think आप अगले को भी खुश रख सकते हो, and goes vice versa, right? So I think I would rather want कि हम we stay in a relationship, if we have a healthy relationship, and then we build careers, both of us,
and
individually.
Do you think it's important to discuss finances before?
100%.
Yeah, there are many people that wouldn't do it.
No, 100%, because we should know what to expect from each other, right? ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि आप उसको को यार मैं आपको I'll bring the stars and the moon for you, and then you don't end up giving it to it. Not like कि वो कि वो चाहेगी कि आप उसको दो, but those are false promises, and you should never promise something you can't give.
Bilkul, completely agree. One last question, Saffee. So what is your take on matrimonial apps?
I think they're bridging the gap between a man and a woman, and the whole process of वो लड़की trolley लेके आ रही है and all of that. I don't like that. So I think it's better कि आप बस online देखो एक दूसरे को, बाहर मिलो कहीं, and then just get married. I think it's lovely actually.
It's also आप बेसिकली पेरेंट्स के कंसर्न ये होते हैं कि ओके मिलने जा रहे हैं तो हम एक्सक्लूड कर रहे हैं वहाँ से पाकिस्तान, वी वर वेरी क्लोज नेट फैमिलीज, और वो तो वो है कि मैट्रिमोनियल ऐप्स ऑल्सो हैव योर पेरेंट्स नो कि अच्छा ओके ये अगर किसी ऐप पे है तो इट्स हलाल, इट्स द राइट वे, इस तरह की चीज़ें. सो यू थिंक इट्स good that
I think it's new in Pakistan right now. The concept of the halal dating apps are new in Pakistan, but I think they're lovely. If it's helping, I saw your Instagram page and you have so many success stories, like people are getting married through the application, so why not? I think it's great.
All right, Saffee, I'll wrap it up here. It was lovely talking to
Likewise,
you.
honestly, likewise.
Take it.
Likewise.
It was lovely having you here.
Likewise. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you in the next podcast. Tab tak ke liye Allah Hafiz.